So I know this game came out a while ago, but actually decided to wait till it's gonna cost probably as much as it's worth, you know, because it's made by those guys. So I bought it for like $5 on EA Game Pass along with a couple of other games that came out like 60 years ago. And you might wonder what a game of this scale is doing there. Well, Jimbo, let me explain.
Did you ever hear the tragedy of Darth Plagueis the Wise?
So immediately after the game starts, you get to see all those old Star Destroyers getting dismembered in the distance. Then you see an old abandoned Jedi ship. And after that there's a cutscene when your friend dies, and boom, there's a chase, there is a boss fight, then you get rescued by some weirdos and you're just sitting there like, nice. But not soon after you get introduced to a part of the story and you get to see the gameplay, and then you're just like... And don't get me wrong, it's not bad, it's just confusing, alright? So let me start with the combat. The lightsaber fighting is actually pretty cool. You get all those cool finishing moves and stuff, but honestly it was a little bit janky for me. Especially in the beginning when you don't have that many special moves and you're just mashing one button like you're playing Mortal Kombat for the first time. So as I said, the combat may seem a little bit tricky at first, but then you learn how to force push, and it turns out that the lightsaber was basically just a cosmetic item all along because you don't have to use that for the rest of the game. The next weird thing about this game is the AI. There are barely any moments in which you can take this game seriously, but like mini bosses and combat itself, it's it's definitely one of those moments. The boss fights are really cool though, like I'm actually serious, they are really good. Until you meet this guy, he's a total piece of shit. But let's talk about the story, because in my opinion it's one of the strongest points of this game. And even though it has many plot twists and it is very action driven, I think the strongest point of the story are still the characters. Even though the dialogues are not great, but let's be honest, they never were in any Star Wars movie ever.
Oh my god, I like totally have to pee again. Are you serious? Whatever.
They somehow managed to keep the people that you meet throughout the game at least a little bit interesting. Let's start with your allies, because that will be the guys that you have to listen to for the rest of the game. So both of them are aliens, and the little one tries to be funny, but he tends to forget that EA has put so much racial and gender insensitive filters on his jokes that it's actually a miracle that he can speak at all. And the second one has actually a very interesting backstory. Not many of you guys probably know it, but she actually was supposed to be one of Mass Effect Andromeda characters, but she actually managed to make a run for it, and now she is hunted by every BioWare employee throughout the whole galaxy. Bruh, these can pop out any minute now, what the fuck? Oh, and also there's this guy who is absolutely the best of them and surely the least annoying, probably because he doesn't speak. But of course there are more new characters. There's a sexy Darth Vader as a new main bad guy. And also during the story flashbacks to your Jedi training days, you get to see your master that honestly looks strangely familiar. But besides all of those, I think it was the most fun to see the old characters returning to the game, such as Saul Guerrera.
Surprise, motherfucker!
The friendly rescue droid. And of course...
Somebody once told me the word.
What are you doing in my swamp?
So far I told you only about the good stuff about this game that you'll experience for around 30 to 40% of your total game time. So now let's talk about the reasons why this title is in a $5 bundle, because you will have to deal with those for the majority of your game time. So let's begin with the fact that this game really has no genre. It is honestly just a mix of all the games that you played before. You have a little bit of Uncharted, a little bit of Dark Souls, a little bit of Titanfall, and even a little bit of Red Dead Redemption if you consider the arena level and think about how much sense it makes. Then it's really like Red Dead Redemption. But honestly, that's not even bad. The worst part is that the developers somehow felt that it is a great idea to put so much puzzles and so much random bullshit in between the combat that is actually fun and the cutscenes that you are basically playing the game for. And even though there are many games that implement puzzles well, this one is not one of them. And additionally, in case this wasn't enough to test your patience, they created each map so that you can't distinguish one corner from another. And if you actually want to use the map to help you guide through this madness, you open this shit up and it looks like 5D chess with multiverse time travel.
Checkmate.
Like, motherfucker, how am I supposed to read that? And another thing that is interesting are the loot boxes in this game. Surprisingly enough, you don't have to pay for them, and perhaps this is one of the reasons why they include stuff that is literally useless. Because usually in games, loot boxes contain stuff that make your character stronger. Thus, they make the gameplay easier, which makes you want to look for those loot boxes. In this game though, you get to find ponchos that make your character look like a fucking dumbass, shipskins, which you really get to see like maybe twice during your total game time, BD1 skins, but they are actually pretty cool, and like 8 different upgrades for your lightsaber that is literally just 1 pixel on the screen. So now that I explained to you how bad the game struggles with pacing and how the fun things in it are being constantly interrupted by either puzzles or just trying to find a way to the objective, let me give you a glimpse of how the gameplay really looks like.